Hello, everybody. So today we're going to talk about why analyzing deal when it comes to wholesaling is being the wrong way. And a lot of you have probably lost deals or you have missed opportunities because of that. I remember we had a student that actually did a huge mail out. I think it was like 5,000 leads that she mailed out to vacant homes and the different things. And she had over 60 people that called her, right? It's amazing. It was great. She had no deals because she was using something that is not working. And I hate to say that, but this happens all the time. So I'm going to go over here in a minute what it is and how to rethink this so that moving forward, you can analyze deals and create more win situations. So what I did, going back to her, she had over 60 leads that called her back, didn't she wasn't able to do it because she analyzed the deals under this wrong assumption. So I told her go back to these 60 leads. And she came from us from another coach. So she went back and she was able to salvage 5 of them under contract. But that's why it is so important that you know how to analyze the deals. And when it comes to wholesaling, this is where it falls. How many of you have been told 70% rule? How many of you have been told about, going for the lowest possible price in the beginning when you negotiate with the seller? So I'm going to share with you in a moment how to get it better and get more yeses out of the deal. Also, yesterday I talked about how to get contracts, how to get 90% of the contracts accepted, to if you do 3 different things to the contract. So if you haven't reviewed the video that I did yesterday, go look for that, how to get 90% of the sellers to say yes to the contract. There were 3 crucial things that I said there to turn that all around. So, but now we're going to go into analyzing deals. We're going to go into how you should do it instead of the wrong way you've been taught, which is, the 70% rule. In the meantime, I want to mention we have actually pre-opened, we have the pre-sale of the fast track wholesaling program. So if you want to get information about the program and also get $1,000 off a discount, and we also have payment options, go to the wait list or go to the page and we have the link here in the video. Now keep in mind that this $1,000 discount is valid only for the next 3 days or so. So then, so this is the time to act on that. And like I said, we have payment option. We also have Klarna and Affirm to help you to really jump into it and learn. Because all of it that I'm going to give you today, we have templates, we have the contracts we talked about yesterday, we have the scripts, we have what to put on the contract. So if you want all the insiders information, you do have to be part of Fast Track, but also you get the community. And also for the first one, since this is a pre-sale, for the first ones that join, we are also going to give you a personalized game plan for the first 12 people that join this particular training. So not only you get a $1,000 discount, but you also get personalized game plan where it's going to make a ton of difference for a lot of you. Okay, so make sure you click on the link in the description to go there. But now let's talk about, so you're going to say, if I don't use the 70% rule when analyzing a deal, what should I do? Right? It's pretty straightforward, honestly. Honestly, it's even easier. Take the comps of the properties that have actually sold in the last 3 to 6 months, depending on your area, and go for the comps that have the lowest days on the market, meaning they sold pretty quickly, and use those as comps. And then you average out those comps and then look at your subject property, make any adjustments if you have to do it for repairs and so forth. Take out your $10,000 fee that you should make as a wholesaler, and this is what will be your maximum allowable offer. That's pretty straightforward, and it's much better because why doesn't the 70% rule work? Because it might work if you have a property that's priced $50,000 to $100,000, but let's face it, how many properties around the country are really priced at that price? But when you start getting into properties that price 300, 400, 500,000, that's 30%. It's over $100,000. And now, I've heard property owners say, you know what, if I had to go that low, I would I prefer getting this property to let it go into foreclosure because they feel insulted. They feel you're taking advantage of them, right? And you're not in this business to insult or taking advantage. You want to create win-win situations. So with that said, offer, look at the comps below those in the market, and offer below that to adjust for repairs and your $10,000 fee, and that will be your maximum allowable offer. Okay, so that's the first thing you should do. The second thing I want to say is, there are two ways to negotiate with sellers. One is go for the lowest possible price. Kind of, I heard one time one of the investors, a wholesaler, say, "Oh yeah, when I talk with sellers or potential leads, I go for the jugular to get them down to the most possible price." That's awful. That's horrible, right? As women, we definitely don't want to hear something like that. And my thing is, I like to have a conversation, negotiate as low as I can, okay, but when I feel like I'm losing them or I'm rocking the boat too much, that's where I step away. That's where I'm saying, you know what, let's go for this price, put it under contract. Because once you have it under contract, it's easier to renegotiate later, to do an extension, to add any adjustments later on. Get your foot in the door, get the property under contract, establish a relationship with the seller, and then it will be easier to do it later on. And try to go down in the price in the beginning, because let's face it, a lot of the women were not what
No.
a lot of the women.
Hey, everyone.
Okay.
No, the reason I was talking to her, I was trying to wave her down, was we had a student that shared this today. She closed on a property and she said, in her opinion, it was overpriced. But she went to closing and she shared in our group basically stating, I just listened to Laura and I didn't rock the boat, and came around and did that. And now she closed on her very first deal with that strategy. So I just wanted to state that as well.
Yep. So it comes through so much better, so much easier. It comes through more natural for women to go into like that, instead of just trying to beat people down to the ground in the beginning and then lose the deal altogether. So that's something I wanted to share with you. And there is so much more. There is what I call in my golden nugget. If you see in the back here, Liz actually gave me a golden nugget. It's not real gold, but it's a golden nugget.
I don't know why you have to post that out every time.
Because it's so cool. I mean,
but you have to say it's not real gold. Trust me, it's expensive enough to might as well be real.
Because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna ever say again, but there is a golden there's this golden nugget here for a reason, because she says I always drop this golden nugget. I was actually talking with some students this morning, and I was just giving her some of my wisdom, and she filmed me because she's like, you're dropping golden nuggets left or right. So this comes from having been in the business, since Reagan was president. I was like, God, Ronald Reagan was president in the 80s. Some of you were probably not even born, or very little or young. That's when I started investing in real estate. So I've been around the block a few times. I've done a few things. I stumbled into wholesaling just by chance. I was buying a rental property back in 92, and I sat at the table and I realized the person selling the property to me was not on title. And I was like, how is that even possible? And he said, I'm flipping the contract and sending it to you. So with that said, that's how I bought my first rental property. I'm sorry, the first wholesale deal. And then I said something that you guys should say. Okay, this sounds really cool. Can I come with you and learn about it? Right? So this is why we're offering you this opportunity to actually do it. Unfortunately, back then it was not as easy as hiring a coach, because wholesaling wasn't a mainstream. But when I found out I had some idea about how to do it, I perfected it since then, because he was not doing it 100% how I do it. But when I decided to go work, I learned the strategy and I evolved it into what is today. And this was before it was called wholesaling. It was called flipping a contract. So if you want to learn more about it, wholesaling, the way I do it, and I've done it for 30 plus years, and perfected it. And also Liz came in a few years ago and brought it into more of the virtual way of doing things and systems and so forth. Go ahead and go into the wait list, because we call it wait list, but honestly it's not a wait list anymore. Is opt in there so you can get a $1,000 off coupon for the pre-sale that's happening right now, but will end in the next 72 hours. And also we are offering a personalized game plan with me, as far as the coach of coaches when it comes to wholesaling. But that's also going to be available only for the first 12 people who join. Liz, you want to add something?
Well, no,
she's hovering over me. So
no, because I'm currently messaging one of the ladies in the program. No lie, she could probably come and say, Liz just sent me a message. And one of the things she said of why she joined, and I'm not saying this to pitch, but to show you, she said, you're the mix of what we need to hear, but you're vulnerable enough to make sure that we succeed. And the way that we share things, the way that we help, because you get access to Q&As, but you also get access to the most important part of this business that a lot of people don't coach on, which is the mindset to succeed, the mindset to actually do the work, where people are like, I don't understand. I know what to do and I'm not doing it. Or I'm really frustrated because I have what it takes, but I'm living in my fear. So she literally just sent me that message as well. I was like, oh my gosh, because you're talking about it right now. But the thing is, through 40 years for her, 10 for me of experience, it changes overnight. And so wholesaling is still amazing. It's still great to do, but you also have to have the grit that we help form, even if you don't have it right now. We have women who literally cry at the drop of the hat that are rocking in real estate. And they were like, I just didn't think I had the personality to do it. And so, and then like you said, we're talking analyzing deals today. Most people are still teaching the 70% rule, and that's wrong. But the only people that would know that are the people that are actually out there doing deals to say the 70% rule isn't working on all these properties. So that was my tip.
Okay. Yes. So that's the thing. At the end of the day, guys, you have to, take the strategy and learn the rules of the game. And one of the things I said to the students this morning too, I said, the strategy doesn't change. I did a video about this yesterday, I think, about the strategy doesn't change. The tools change. How do you get the leads, right? That changed. The systems, things like that change, but the strategy doesn't change. Wholesale is here to stay. We'll always be here to sell. As long as people want to buy things cheaper to resell them, Amazon, eBay, brick and mortar stores, real estate, that's what wholesaling is. It's the same concept. So analyze the deal. Doesn't have to be anything outlandish. Doesn't have to be any crazy rules. It just, what makes sense, honestly, makes sense. Take the comps, low days on the market, it's sold fairly fast. Look at your comp, make any adjustments if it needs repair, take off $10,000 and profit for the rehabber if you have to. And that's how you know how to offer. So as simple as that. And I have some cool things for buy and hold and fix and flip too, but this is not what we're going to talk about. So glad to share this information with you. Every time I share something, I feel like I want to share the secrets for the world. I have something so good to tell everybody, and this is my drop for the day. So don't forget to go on the page, and where the link is in the description, and get into the pre-sale where you can get $1,000 off and a game plan with me. I can now share with you many stories where, because they had a game plan with me, it changed their whole life, made over $50,000 profit on one deal. Jimmy and Patricia, the 10-hour coaches in our community, made over $100,000 in their first deal because I was able to guide them through it. So that game plan is honestly, for a lot of you, could be what make and break into the business. Mm-hmm. So thanks for spending this time with us, and I will see you on the other side.